Alright, so welcome back to Research Learning Algorithms, and today's lesson is going to teach you how to write your abstract. And we're going to examine two research abstracts, an international one and then a local one. So let's begin. So we have here the study entitled Learning Analytics Methods, Benefits and Challenges in Higher Education, a systematic literature review, and this is authored by Avelia Kibrici Non-Kanai of the University of Phoenix, and you can access this one at Online Learning Volume 20, issue number 2, and it was published on 2016 if I'm not mistaken. So let's proceed and see the abstract. So from this line, from the first line going to here, that would be the background for the study. And they also have this line: few studies have synthesized previous studies to provide an overview of LA or learning analytic issues in higher education. That would be the gap. Now what is a gap? A gap is when it tells that not much of studies have been done to suffice the literature or the needs in the literature or in the scientific community. So in that case, the few studies would serve as your clue that there is really a gap going on or a literature gap. And if it's your first time to really spell or mention an acronym, just like this one, the LA, you really need to spell it out. So it's in this part, it's learning analytics. And then for the rest of the abstract of your paper, you can already use LA, just as long as you mention it, what it means or what it stands for on the first instance that it can be seen. So this study would have an overview of methods, benefits and challenges of using LA in higher education. So that would be your objective. Now, what have they done to accomplish the study? They conducted a systemic literature review. It's actually systematic, so I guess it's wrong. A systematic literature review, and that will be the only one that would serve as the methodology. So it would have been better if this study or the authors have included information like the data analysis tool that they used to have for their study, and then what kind of literature review, systematic literature review that I have conducted. So it would have been better if they mentioned, or it was mentioned in the abstract, and then how many literature reviews were carried out. And then from the literature review in this line going to here until this line over there, this would be the results for the study. You don't actually need to put all of the results of your study. Even just a glimpse of the results of your study will already do. So somehow just the key terms or the key lines or results of your study would be better. And then for the last line, from going here until the last sentence, that would be the implications for the study. So let's check what have they included in the abstract. Well, the background, yes, which is very important, the background or the problem of the study. And then the gap, the literature gap, that is also commendable if you can really look for that literature gap. And of course the methodology, but if notice here, there's only one. They only did a systematic literature review. And then of course, never forget your objective, which is also very important. And then the results, and then implications. The implications can be practical implications or economic or societal or political implications, as long as whatever benefit it can provide for the scientific community. And you have to remember to include all pertinent details in your paper, because an abstract, just like the eyes are the windows to the soul, so the abstract is a window to your paper. That's why all necessary details should be included in your abstract, because there are researchers who do not really proceed to reading your full paper, because it would really depend if they can already find out whatever details is summarized whatever details are summarized in your paper. So that's it. Try to have it catchy enough but informative and relevant enough for the researchers and other readers. So let's proceed, because this one is an international abstract or authored by international authors, or yes. So let's proceed to the local author. It's entitled "The Boons and Banes of Child Protection Policy: The Sorsogon West Landscape." So this is authored by Michael Estremera, and it was published in the Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research last May 2019. So let's try to examine what's included in the abstract. So from the first line going to here, implementation, that would actually be the background or the problem of the study. So if you notice in both abstracts, it always starts with a background or a problem for the study, and then this academic piece dealt with the extent relevant to the execution and level of awareness. So that would be your objective, the objective of his study. So it wants to measure the level of awareness of the respondents, and this purposely chosen respondents that would form already as the part of the methodology. Now let's try to look at what other details are included for the methodology. Well, the author has included that it used a mixed method research design, and then it also mentioned about the research device questionnaires and the frequency and weighted mean statistical tools for the data treatment, but it forgot to mention what data analysis tool was used for the qualitative part of the study. So, and also how many respondents were chosen for the studies. It would have been better if the author had mentioned such information. Now from the findings until this line over here, that would be the author's, of course, the results or the findings. And then, taking into account the foregoing findings, the researcher concluded that the CPC members need further awareness of the CPP framework. So this would be his conclusion in order to answer his objective, the level of awareness. And it is concluded that the CPC members, the CPC, again, if it's the first time to be mentioned, so in that case it's the first time to be mentioned over here, it should have been spelled out already. And CPC stands for Child Protection Committee, so it should be Child Protection Committee members. And then the CPP here would stand for the Child Protection Policy Framework. And then here, going to the last lines, this would be Michael's recommendations. So let's check if what he has included in his abstract, the background, yes, the objective as well is present, the methodology, which includes the research design, and then the questionnaires and statistical tools, and how the sampling of the respondents was done. So it was all part of the methodology, and of course the results, then the conclusion, and of course the recommendations, and of course lastly the keywords. For all abstract, there should always be keywords, because the keywords would serve as like clues on how for the search engine optimization to easily locate your study, and of course so that other authors can easily look for that study. So you need to find 4 keywords that would really give clues or variables to your study, and for the search engine optimization to easily look for it. So that's how the keywords are really important. Now, again, what are the contents of the abstract? You need to have a background or a problem of the study, and you also need to provide your objective. That's your focus. And then the methodology, which includes details about the research design, the sampling technique, the materials, the statistical treatment or data analysis tool. And by the way, you need to mention like how many respondents, participants, or subjects were included for your sampling technique. And of course, the results, conclusions, and recommendations, or you can write applications and even a limitation for your study. But just remember to not go beyond 250 words, because for some journals it will only allow you to have 100 words and not more than that. So but for most journals they would allow you for 250 words but not more than 250. So just to make your study, although this is not really a rigid rule because you can make your own abstract the way that you'd like to, but just to make it logical, you have to follow this process. From here, from the background, going to the last one, the recommendations. So that's it, everyone. I hope that you will enjoy writing your abstract and that you can really have all necessary details for your abstract.